And we are on the air at Suzie.
Yes, we are a day late. We know that, but we are not, in fact, $1 short.
No, because this is episode 120.
Is it really?
It is.
I didn't think we got that far out. We're normally doing this on Thursdays, but yesterday was the last day of the open enrollment period for health insurance.
Yeah, we kind of got overwhelmed the last couple weeks.
Yeah, it was a lot. I don't know if I got burnt out, but I definitely hit a wall at one point.
Yep. And today's topic is
Mm-hmm.
the importance of forecasting. Susie's laughing because we had a couple customers recently do the, I don't know, because health insurance is tied to forecasting.
Well, if you're using the Affordable Care Act, yes.
Yes.
Because that works on a sliding scale based on your predicted income for the coming year. That's not always easy to do if you are self-employed. If you're just like some dude who works for some other dude, you got yourself your W-2, it's usually relatively easy to predict that.
Well, we're going to expand out a little bit.
Are we now?
Because, yes, while working for another dude, you're basically on a subscription.
Okay, I guess that's one way to look at it.
The employer is subscribing for your time and compensating you with money.
Okay. Like I said, that's one way to look at it. I've never really considered it that way, and I'm not sure how I feel about that, but go on.
It's one of those things. Is when you start dealing with forecasting and subscriptions, it's incredibly easy.
Yeah, okay.
Because you just tally up numbers and turn around. Ooh, wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You tally up numbers and you turn around and you got a number of what's going to be paid next
In case
month.
you're wondering why Matt was just interrupted, we got a package.
Yeah.
So you go around, you figure out what you tally things up and you predict.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always easy to predict when you are a small business because sometimes you really don't know what your business is going to do over the next year.
Well, there are things that
there are total.
This is not just for business.
No,
because forecasting takes away anxiety.
Okay.
It takes away the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
And you make adjustments along the way.
See, that's the important thing. You need to realize the important thing about forecasting is you can make adjustments as you go along.
Mm-hmm.
And you're encouraged and expected to make adjustments as you go along.
Yeah, and in turn, because you got to take the time. Because forecasting takes time.
Mm-hmm.
It takes more time when you've got more unknowns, more variables to it. But in turn, it allows you to get affiliations.
Okay.
You could get loans. You could get partnerships. Because you can say, yeah, this is the direction we're going.
Mm-hmm. And when you've got that sketched out in a formal manner,
a business plan,
money folk like that.
Oh yeah,
they just numb all over that.
Well, yeah. Also relationships.
Well, yes.
Because if you think about it, it's like, oh, this is the way our life's going. Do you want to spend time together? Because we're not going to spend it in a van down by the river.
Well, some people want to be in a van down by the river.
Yeah, it's expensive though these days.
Being in a van by river.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the van life is not cheap.
Yeah, but that is, you've got to plan things out.
Yeah, it's best to be on the same page with your partners in that regard.
Or else you get this anxiety and you build this anxiety until a major jump scare occurs.
I hate jump scares.
That's why we plan. And if you notice, the last 10 years of our life together, it's kind of been better than the first 10 years because we've done a whole lot more planning.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And it's been different.
It's been different. There's less anxiety.
Different kinds of anxiety.
Yeah.
I am the anxiety one prone, and I am the one who's anxiety. What's in the package?
Well, this is our career agents welcome packet.
Oh, that's
because we have sat there and we have planned and we have forecasted, and these guys have said, yes, expand your business. We like what you're doing, and we want more of it.
Cool. So that's a good example of where forecasting can get you affiliations.
So yeah.
I mean, you predict with. All right. So the last 10 years, to be fair, I'm the more anxiety prone on my sleeve variant.
Yeah.
Matt represses his anxiety. It all comes out in a great big burst when things quiet down. When he does the predictions, it makes me anxious.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. Because I am foreseeing, and he's saying, well, this is going to happen, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. And I always am inclined to look at the worst possible scenario, and freaks me out.
Yeah, I'm actually very conservative when I do forecasting.
Yeah.
Because I can see usually about 6 different monster-sized things coming at us.
He's very psychic in that way.
And it's like, okay, I got to figure out how to incorporate that.
Yeah. And he gives us contingency plans for as much as he can, visualize. And he's got a knack for it. And my role is to support him in his process, because I haven't got that skill or knack or whatever it is.
It takes time. It takes it to do it.
I don't know if it's learnable. Is it learnable?
It is learnable. It's teachable. I had to do it when I was with Banta. And I had a subscriber base. I had about 600 enabling customers with Microsoft that bought space in the warehouse.
Yeah. And
then I had add-ons.
Right.
Big jobs that would come in.
Okay.
To support it. I couldn't, it would be, okay, well, what are you going to do, next quarter? It was working with my partners and doing what was, what's your next quarter. So I had that strong base to work with.
Okay. So you had a launching point.
I had a launching point. And I've taken that same concept with insurance, which is all subscription based.
Right. Now, one thing I do tell my small businesses is let's look at last year's taxes as or last year's income as a launching point. This has been particularly difficult this year because the last 2 years have been so weird for small businesses.
And then all that means is you got to make more adjustments.
Yeah.
Because you're going through, whenever you're going through a rocky period, you stop and check more.
Yeah, you just double check things more frequently. So when I've got a client who is saying, well, my QuickBooks says I'm going to make $500,000 next year, but he also, they also say, well, I don't know what my expenses are. I don't know what my, taxable income is going to be. I don't know what my gross is. I don't know I know my gross, but I don't know my net. Is like, yeah, I know your business needs to be managed a little more closely. Well, the business might not be, but the books need to be managed.
No, it's not books.
Okay.
Because books are a ledger.
Okay.
And
I was kind of using that as a nebulous.
Yeah, you're writing down what has occurred.
Yes.
Which is great, because really when you're doing just massive forecasting on a large scale, you want 3 years back.
Okay. Oh yeah, because you're looking for trends. You're looking for trends.
You're looking for that regular. Oh yeah, they're going to order this in spring, or they're going to order this much, or this is their renewed. It takes some maturity, and one of the easiest ways that I've had our locals for maturity is going to there's a group called SCORE in our town.
Right.
And it's a bunch of well-established, mostly retired business leaders that act as advisors. And that it's really important to have some of that if you're running in, because if you don't really know what you're going to make, how do you budget for that? Because that's part of budgeting.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have an idea of what your income is going to be, you can't budget for the marketing or the supplies or the phone bill. It's very difficult. It's you can't. Yes, you can wing it. It's not advised.
No, you're like I said, you're building anxiety for that jump scare. That jump scare could be the transmission falling out of your car.
Oh yeah, that's not a good thing.
It's not, but you're building it, And once it gets there, it's bigger than it has to be.
Yeah.
And that's the why forecasting is so darn important in personal life
Mhm.
and financial life.
Yes.
Because I mean, we've got some big things coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, big things, and we wouldn't be able to do that if we didn't say, okay, Suzie knows that she's got what three? How many Medicare you're currently sitting on?
258, something like that.
Okay.
I'd have to go back and look exactly, but I had a couple more drops last couple of days.
Yeah, and you got some adjustment, and you've got appointments on the books.
Yeah, that's not stopping.
So from that, she's got a pretty good idea. Okay, yeah, this is the income that is going to be coming in, and it's because it's not here. It won't be here for months, but we have a good idea of what income level we have coming in.
Right.
It's we have contracts, with different insurance companies with several, 100 individuals in it, and we know how many, what the cost, what the price per month is.
Right, because they commission us X dollars per person per month.
Mm-hmm.
And so we take that X dollars per person per month and we multiply by the X persons and we get an estimate on what our income is.
Yeah, and that's how we do it. But it allows us to plan different things coming up. It says, okay, yeah, we're going to need more supplies for this because we're going to go to this show.
Right.
Or, hey, you know what? We're going to go to Soup Live. And we're going to shut down the entire office.
Yes, that's going to be so much fun. We have no idea where, we don't know when, but the plan is to go.
And part of that is the reason why we stress that so much is we look for connections, and we're looking for new tools that we can bring back that this area has never seen before.
Right.
And that's important. We're bringing stuff back to our business. We wouldn't be able to forecast that as far as we have if we didn't have an idea of what the funds are coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, we're able to manage our business.
Yes.
Instead of waiting for that next jump scare to show up. And that's why we was like, okay, yeah, let's get into the force. And there's sometimes it was like, okay, let's sit down. I had one where I counseled a couple of weeks ago, and I could hear the anxiety. And it was just like, okay, you need to get to your accountant and you need to figure out, what your true income is. And they did, and it was completely upside down from where he thought. But I could hear it in the anxiety. And that just comes with experience.
Yeah. Well, I've had other clients have similar situations with the anxiety, and they look at their health insurance premium. That's their jump scare at this moment.
Yeah, because they haven't put any budget into it.
Well, and it's so completely. That's the thing that's really adjustable as well.
Yeah.
If it's based on if you are incorporated as a C corp or an LLC, or if you're a sole
sole provider.
Thank you.
Or partnership.
Then you're looking at your net income, and that's income minus your IRS allowable expenses. If you're a C corporation, you look at your gross income because it all comes out in the front. Yeah. But if you don't know how you're incorporated, or if you don't know if you're incorporated, you don't know how you're set up, and you don't know where your money's, there's money coming in, but you don't know how it's going out. You really do need to get to a financial expert and help.
Yeah, and it's that time.
Yeah.
I don't know how long I've been counseling people. It's like, okay, what's your budget?
Yeah, what can your budget bear is a phrase I use.
Well, I did this before we got into insurance.
Yeah, that's true.
What's your budget? I know guys that bounce checks to frickin' Pizza Hut.
Yeah, that's always baffled my mind.
And never managed to pay it back. And that's really important. It's like, okay, well, what's your budget to, I'm gonna make good on it. Like, cool. Well, what's your budget?
Exactly. How are you going to keep this from happening again? You know, you say, well, I'm going to make good on it, but how? You know, where are you going to, take out a certain X dollars out of out of the next check, or are you going to spread it out over the next 3 checks? The longer you let that linger, the bigger it's going to get. It's not being afraid of your finances. And that's not easy to do.
Well, it's talking about your finances and really really getting a handle on them, and it's so important. Well, one of the things that one of the conversations I had was an individual that was making around $25 an hour, and they were getting a cost of living adjustment of 50 cents.
Okay.
That is so underwater compared to inflation.
Oh yeah.
And it really it kind of strikes, it really shows on how underappreciated they are.
I had that happen. I had a cost of living raise was less than 1% one year.
Yeah. And and you look around and you're looking, okay, what's the inflation rate? 8%. Well, if you're getting a cost of living adjustment of 1%, you're underwater by 7%.
That's right. It's not a cost of living event. It's a. We told you you're going to get a raise. Shut up.
Yeah, we're swamped and we're not doing good financially.
Exactly.
And that's one of those things.
Well, either that or they're being skinflints.
Well, if they're being skinflints, well, A, shame on them. B, it's really time you need to start looking for other work.
And your boss needs to kind of figure out what's wrong in their end.
Well, that's why you've got a lot of people that are quitting.
Oh yeah, that's a big part of it.
And now we're going to see, because we know that we've got minimum wage in our state that's tied to inflation.
Correct, which means it's going to go up pretty good this next year.
It's $15.75.
Yeah, it's a big jump from $14.49.
Yeah, it's a big jump, and we're going to see again. You can mark it. You're going to see a bunch of small business owners complain about.
I can't afford this because of minimum wage.
Yes, and the honest thing is okay. It's been tied to inflation in our state since '98. It has raised almost every year.
This is the first year it's been when they did the last round. They did a fixed rate up to this year. This is the first year it's been tied to the actual inflation rate. Yeah. So that's why it's one of the reasons why it's a big jump like it is. But
before
was last year inflation rate?
It was before it was tied to inflation.
So it was tied to inflation. Then they brought it up to more.
They did a big jump. A couple of years back.
Well, they did a ramp up to the big number and then tied it back to inflation.
Yeah, and they kept it tied to inflation because they needed to keep up because of production levels were higher. The wages did not keep up with the production values.
No, not at all. And they still do. And it's
like a crazy number compared to the 80s.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, it's like 50 times, the wages should be like $50 an hour for minimum wage. And that's just that's just the level of production. And if you think about it, we were looking at one of the affiliations. Well, how much is this book worth? And I had to look. It was something like $7 million.
I know, and that's just like, what? No,
that's how much premium expenditures in there.
Well, yes, and I just think that I don't know. That's just my head says, well, why does the premium matter? But then I'm health insurance. That's different.
Well, remember, for some things, premium is a massive number. The health insurance guys, they turned around pretty quick. Well, first of all, health insurance is a woman-centric branch of insurance.
We absolutely are. For some reason, it got sexist.
It got sexist, and therefore it's for particularly the individual is particularly underpaid.
Yes, if you're a health insurance producer or CSR, rather than a business owner like I am. Yeah, we are. If I were working for another agent, I would be criminally underpaid.
Yeah.
For the amount of money I'm bringing in.
Yeah. Even if we worked hourly.
I worked hourly, it'd be even worse.
Yeah, it'd be even worse because we worked 7 days a week for months on end to get this thing kept going. So and
he's very proud of that. By the way,
you should be. It's it's one of those things. It's to get everything running and running smoothly, and to where we get comfortable and we can forecast. Yeah.
And we all knew it. We knew it. Matt and I both knew that going into this, that we were going to be putting in some hard hours for 2.5 months, 3 months. Yeah.
There's points where we had to call different companies and they were nowhere near to be answering that phone because we were working those long hours on weekends and crazy times.
Yeah. No regrets.
No regrets. And that's because we work that way because we're building something that no one else has ever seen.
That's true. We have got a model that I at least in Central Washington, I've never seen it. I don't know if it's been seen in Washington State at all. Mm-hmm. There might be something across the country somewhere, but I think we're really weird. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty proud of our weirdness.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And yeah, like I said, you work that way so that you can build something, but we're paid. It's like, yes, the premiums are completely off whack compared to what we're compensated from the insurance companies.
Oh, yeah. The insurance companies are making a boatload compared to what we're making.
And you can see that when they put in for their, because they have to file the compensation with the Office of the Insurance Commissioner on what the commission rate is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a bunch of them are at the commission rate that they plan on paying out is less than 1%.
Oh yeah. Every time when I load in a person's insurance plan, I can see their full retail price. I see if they're getting a subsidy from the federal government for the ACA, if there's a Cascade Care subsidy, and I can see their final monthly premium. I know what the raw premium is. The client knows what their premium is. I know I'm making, maybe $25 on it.
Yeah,
and that's less than 1% for a lot of those.
Oh yeah, and that is the insurance companies forecasting.
Exactly.
And every year they make an adjustment because they've been doing it for so long. They don't have to make a micro adjustment along the way. Now, a couple companies this year in other markets outside of Washington State made adjustments.
It went up?
No,
went down.
They stopped selling.
They just closed up.
They had to shut down during middle of open enrollment.
Really?
Because they saw the inbound was so large
they couldn't
handle it.
So they just boogied out and left people hanging?
Well, they didn't leave people hanging. They said, okay, basically no more.
No more. We'll take care of what we got, and you're going to have to shop again next year.
Yep.
And that means they're out of their exchange. They get booted from their exchange for years for that.
Well, it's hard to say because it's some of those southern.
Oh yeah, they're weird
states, and they do horrible things.
Yep.
So yeah, that is a massive thing. And that's because they couldn't forecast those large of numbers coming in.
Yeah. This has been a very heavy enrollment year. And I'm not precisely sure.
It's the 10th anniversary.
Yes. And where were these people when COVID was hitting hard? And it was so critical to get health insurance because you could get devastated if you got COVID.
COVID's only one factor.
Oh, there's always
like I said, it's a time factor.
Well, you know what we're also running into as a new generation, because I noticed this in many of our clients. They're coming off of their parents' plans, and maybe they went to, we're getting a group. The group's turning 26, going off mom and dad's plan. The groups are coming. Their folks are going into Medicare. Or they're quitting jobs because they that offered them health insurance because they're crappy jobs.
Mhm.
We're seeing the next generation's coming into their adulthood and needing health insurance. So we're seeing I think we're seeing a bit of a wave there.
Well, we mentioned that we're doing things entirely different, and that's very, very true. And because yes, we're counseling young adults in their 20s.
Yeah.
On how to maneuver insurance.
And I love doing that because that gives them a really strong base for their future.
And at the same time, we're working with our Medicare folks on how to maneuver technology. So we're counseling them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have people 80 years old that are, setting appointments on a calendar app.
Yep. And I've got people who are 60 years old who don't have email.
And that is, that
at that point, it's a choice.
That 30 to 60 is kind of okay, well, what are we going to do? Are they, getting those jump scares just because they can't forecast and they can't change and they're living in terror?
Yeah.
So yeah, we see this shift, and the shift is going to be, involved is, okay, how comfortable are they with, living in just the immediate moment of impending terror?
Yeah.
Or do they want to work for a future?
That's a good question.
And we'll leave it at that because we're going to open up this darn box.
And Matt's very excited about it.
Because our partner walked in.
And she gets to
see it. And I know some of the things that are in this because I've seen one of these before.
Here she comes.
And it's incredible. And we're going to do an unboxing. So, hey, everyone have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for visiting Suzilla.